I think JJ is a fine coach. I think he's like pretty solid. A lot of my positive opinions about JJ will kind of go out the window, at least defensively, if they continue to switch as much as they did last year. Like, this roster makes absolutely no sense that they're going to go in and say, yeah, let's sign Walker Kessler to all this money. Let's bring in Quinn Grimes, who, mind you, hasn't been a positive defender since the 1 year that he was on a team that, you know, was predominantly like hedging or a drop coverage defense that he actually contributed on, which I'm talking about that 2023 New York Knicks team that lost to the Heat in the second round, where he like had legitimate good defensive tape, especially throughout that playoff run. It's not like that I think it's gone. I think it is that he's been on teams, whether it was Dallas or Philly, they are both so heavily like switch heavy defenses, especially like that version of those Dallas teams. Like after the final, like, yeah, they were switching. And I mean, hell, that's why you had the blow by stat only created for Luka shown throughout the entire finals run, because of how much they were switching and how they wanted to stay in kind of their shell defense, which kind of became the way the Lakers played defense for a couple of years. Neither here nor there. But if we're talking about the ways we're going to maximize the little bit of juice defensively this roster could have, you have to be in drop. I think they have to make a huge shift, again, almost unrecognizably huge shift, because one, it'll keep your elite rim protector as your elite rim protector, and it's not even that, like, Kessler, I think he could do some other stuff, but like you would predominantly want him to be in drop, or maybe with some hedging stuff if you have him. And yeah, no, probably just drop. But then also too, like, why being more drop oriented, and mind you guys, I'm not saying we're gonna play a Creighton Blue Jays drop or the big and it was Ryan Kalkbrenner just sitting at the rim literally and we're like playing 16 feet off. No, it'll be a high drop obviously, but it'll keep your guards away from being the low man. That's why Chet beasted. Even like Shea got some of his good looks against the Lakers in that second round series. It's because, okay, Chet, when he is attacking one-on-one, or Shea, okay, we're gonna get a switch. We're gonna put DeAndre Ayton at the wing because you're switching everything, and now your low man is Luke Kennard. Your low man is Bronny James, Jake LaRavia, or whatever the case may be. So it'll keep your guards out of potential rotation. I wouldn't be surprised if they're a better defensive rebounding team next year, because they're gonna be, again, a little bit out of rotation more. And also, like, Austin's actually a pretty good screen navigator. And I think Quinn Grimes is gonna start, and he'll probably get the task of guarding the opposing team's, you know, primary ball handler, which, again, screen navigator, he's fine. He has like the athleticism and, you know, some recovery stuff that I think he does well. I weirdly think the floor is going to be higher than defensively, even though, like, I don't think they're going to be like a great defense, obviously. I think the floor is actually somewhat higher because, like, in theory, like, you're playing a scheme defensively which should help guys like Austin and Quinn Grimes, and even to an extent Luka, or a guy like Cam Carr. Again, I really hope he plays. Jake LaRavia, hopefully he has a bounce back year as an offensive player, because defensively, like, he has some juice that this team could actually really use. And then Walker Kessler is an elite rim protecting 5-man that the Lakers have not had since Anthony Davis. So for all those reasons, I think they have a higher floor defensively, even though they still have a lot of glaring holes on that end of the floor, which is just on the ball juice. And I mean, San Antonio walks through the door. How are you guarding Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, and De'Aaron Fox? That's my thoughts on them defensively.
I completely agree. And I do think the Kessler point is kind of getting overlooked just from the pure standpoint of he is a one-man defensive unit in a way, just because he's such a good
defender. It's going to be the 2021 Jazz. It's going to be the 2021 Jazz on defense. Give me 2021 Utah Jazz defense with the Lakers offense. Okay. Bring us.
I do think it's kind of like that vision, but obviously, like, Kessler's not prime Gobert, but it's the vision of, like, Kessler's a great drop defender and a monster rim protector, and it's like there's so much you can do just having that presence on the court. Now, the non-Kessler minutes, I'm in an absolute panic about. Like, I don't know what they're going to do defensively.
Kessler has basically missed 10 to 20 games at minimum his entire NBA career. Be prepared to watch the worst defense of all time, those 10 to 20 games.
Yeah, that'll be rough, because then do you go Sandro at the 5, and Sandro's basically a functional, like, bad defensive 4. I feel like is essentially his skill set. It's like he can't really slide his feet, but he's not super slow, like a slow-footed big, but he can't really drop, and he can't really rebound or protect the rim. So it's like he's functionally a wing on defense who isn't fast enough to guard wings. I don't know. It's a weird kind of, and we saw that become a problem in the playoffs. He didn't really get a lot of minutes against the Cavs. It kind of dwindled as the series went on. And like same thing with Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney's a very sound team defender and a very smart guy on the court, but he just can't move well enough to keep up with fast, great offense. offenses, like you said, the Spurs, with guys like Harper covering space and then having to run out to Wemby. Like, you are very heavily relying on Kessler, but I do think the defense with Kessler can have a vision. It's almost like the inverse of what we talked about with the Lakers offense, where it's like, I think they can get over aggressive on the 3-point line, run guys off the line, limit other teams' 3-point rates, and funnel everything kind of into Kessler. You won't be able to do what the Spurs did for like 700 different reasons, but if you can do a little semblance of that, where it's like, we're going to do everything we can to keep Kessler on the baseline, keep Kessler at the rim, keep him in drop coverage, and then fly out to shooters, close out, rotate. It's all going to be about how they rotate. And I do think if you get a fully bought in Luka and Reeves, for all of their functional limitations, I do think both can be sound rotators. Like, Luka can make rotations, and we've seen him make strong rotations. We've even seen Luka like make plays at the rim when he's bought it in. I do think he looked probably his best defensively last year with the shape he was in athletically. But yeah, I do think the vision is like what you said, a 2021 Jazz type of system where it's against high pick and roll. We're going to jump over the screens, get on the ball handler's backside and funnel them into our drop coverage, where Kessler's waiting to just kind of make those opportunities less accessible at the closer you get to the basket. If you kick it out to shooters, we're just gonna fan out. Don't let them get corner threes, especially. Run them off the line, kind of rotate out of that, and funnel everything back into our big rim protector. And just from that point of view, the floor is so much higher, especially on a game-to-game basis where you're not always facing a high-level offense. Like, when you're facing a 40-win team or a 30-win team, like, they'll be more than fine defensively. It's the ceiling where I'm like, we know that doesn't hold up. The over-reliance on one player. And then it's like, I don't think this roster is built to field out strong defensive lineups, really, without just completely sacrificing the entire philosophy we talked about with the offense.